The Galactic Military Academy's historical warfare class had studied thousands of battles across hundreds of worlds. Today, Professor Krell had promised something special. Actual footage from Earth's Second World War, humanity's pre-contact global conflict. This will demonstrate primitive warfare, Professor Krell announced to the 300 cadets. Observe how species evolve beyond such barbarity as they advance. The holographic display flickered to life. Grainy black and white footage from 1942, the Battle of Stalingrad. Note the crude projectile weapons, Krell commented. The lack of energy shields. He stopped. The camera had focused on a single human soldier in a destroyed building. The soldier was alone. His unit was gone. He had one rifle, 40 rounds, and what looked like several bottles filled with flaming liquid. Against him, an entire mechanized column, tanks, infantry, support vehicles. The rational response would be surrender or retreat. The human smiled and lit a cigarette. Is he smoking? Cadet Vex asked, her 4 eyes widening. He's about to die and he's smoking? The soldier took a shot. One enemy fell. He moved position. Another shot. Another fall. The tanks turned toward his building. He should run, Cadet Thymel whispered. Why isn't he running? The first tank fired. The building's corner exploded. Through the dust and debris, the soldier emerged on a different floor, bleeding from multiple wounds. He threw one of the bottles. The lead tank erupted in flames. The cadets leaned forward. For the next 43 minutes of footage, they watched one man turn an entire city block into hell. He moved through ruins like a ghost, appearing where he shouldn't be, striking from angles that shouldn't exist. When he ran out of bullets, he used enemy weapons. When those ran out, he used knives. When the knives broke, he used rocks, steel bars, his helmet, his boots. At one point, clearly wounded in both legs, he crawled through sewage to reach an enemy position, took their ammunition, and crawled back to keep fighting. Computer, Professor Krell said, his voice shaking. Identify this soldier. Unknown combatant. Records destroyed. One of approximately 27 million Soviet casualties. 27 million? Cadet Zora stood up. This species lost 27 million members and kept fighting? The Soviet Union, yes. The computer confirmed. Total human casualties in this conflict, 70 to 85 million. Half the class immediately submitted transfer requests to non-combat positions. The footage continued. The soldier was down to no ammunition, one functional arm, and what appeared to be pure spite. A tank was driving directly at his position. He didn't run. Instead, he waited until it was close enough, climbed onto it with his one good arm, and dropped his last grenade into the viewing port. The tank stopped. The soldier collapsed against it, finally still. The camera kept rolling. Enemy soldiers approached carefully. The soldier's eyes opened. He was laughing. With his last strength, he'd wedged debris into the tank's treads. It was stuck, blocking the entire column in the narrow street. Allied reinforcements arrived 6 minutes later because of that delay. How? Cadet Vex asked. How did he keep fighting? Professor Krell pulled up human biological data. No redundant organs. No armor plating. No enhanced healing. Standard red iron-based blood that leaks freely. Neural responses actually slow when damaged. They feel every injury. Then why? Multiple cadets shouted. The professor found another file. Human psychological profile. When faced with certain death, most species surrender to preserve life. Humans have a documented response called "fuck it." Rough translation. Acknowledgement of doom followed by maximum possible damage to whoever doomed them. He pulled up more footage. A human pilot ramming a damaged plane into an enemy ship. A soldier calling artillery strikes on his own position. A medic beating an enemy to death with his medical kit. This is not unusual? Cadet Thymel asked weakly. According to records, humans gave medals for this behavior. They have a term, going down swinging. They consider dying while taking enemies with you preferable to simple defeat. Cadet Vex raised a tentacle. Professor, The Alliance is considering recruiting humans for peacekeeping forces. God help anyone who breaks that peace, Krell muttered. By the end of class, half the cadets had requested transfers. The other half had one question: how do we get humans on our side? The professor's answer was simple: don't be their enemy. Later, when asked why the class had such an impact, Cadet Zora summarized: we saw a mortally wounded human with no weapons hold off a mechanized column with pure determination and spite. He wasn't special forces. He wasn't enhanced. He was just a regular soldier having what humans call a bad day. She paused. If that's a regular human having a bad day, I don't want to see an angry one. The footage became mandatory viewing at military academies across the galaxy. Not as inspiration, but as a warning. Humans don't need superior weapons or technology. They just need a reason.